we had an excellent panel, as you'll see from looking in your program. It was very difficult to give everyone the time that we wanted to give them, and we covered a wide range of topics. Thank you. We had British Telecom and Hitachi talking about the direct footprint of data centers, for example. So 2% of global emissions that are attributed to the ICT sector, information and communications technologies, are usually understood as coming from data centers, base stations, networks, laptops, PCs, printers. This is certainly an area of discussion over the last year, and it's and longer, and it's an area of regulation as well. But we also started to talk through about transforming core business in the ICT sector to address the 98% of emissions that come from power generation and distribution, transportation, buildings, lighting, and manufacturing and motor systems. So we touched on those as well, and we also had quite a lively discussion about electric vehicles and storage and the relationship between electric vehicles as batteries moving around the world that can be plugged into the grid and help manage intermittent sources of renewable power as those come on the electricity grid. We also talked a lot about virtual meetings, teleworking, and other services that can offset energy consumption or transportation and lead to new behavior change. And business models came up here too. I think our group would have loved to sit in on some of the new business model innovation sessions and also on some of the urban infrastructure sessions. And finally, we did not end up touching on too much on the kinds of research and development outputs of the ICT sector that can lead to innovations like solar photovoltaics or LED. So the main message from our group was crisis equals opportunity. For the ICT sector, across the 8 panelists, well, 2 speakers and 6 panelists and a chair, so 9 of us, most people were very optimistic. One, Bernard Spitz from BS Conseil was much more, talked a lot more about the risks, and I think that was good to temper the abundant optimism in the room. The top opportunities, when the group broke out, they came up with their top opportunities, and they said virtual meetings and virtualization, whether that's at the data center level or across infrastructure in terms of virtualizing meetings. That was the big opportunity that the sector itself can lead on. It doesn't need to collaborate as much with, say, the building sector or the power sector in order to deliver it. But a lot of interest was in smart cities and smart grid. So how does the ICT sector start to enable the delivery of 20% renewables targets and other aspirations that we have as society? Smart buildings came in there as well. I think there were a lot of things thrown out in the groups that we can imagine that the ICT sector could do but have not yet been quantified. And so there's a lot more room for imagination and creativity. I asked everyone to quickly tell us their top messages for government and for policy. And here were some of the outputs. Standardization, it's really a message for the sector as well. How can we build energy efficiency into existing sector standards, but also create the standards for home area networks, logistics, et cetera. Public procurement is a big lever that governments have at their disposal to purchase the right kinds of equipment and to lead by example. Someone suggested an ICT sector budget so that the sector itself and their own emissions can only grow so far to deliver the kinds of enabling opportunities elsewhere. Developing and sharing best practice, as I said already, leading by example. Training and deployment will be crucial because at this stage, it's not clear how we're going to implement all of these solutions. A lot of discussion about organizational change. What are the different ways that we organize to deliver this within a company or at government level? And then a challenging point from both Hewlett-Packard and WWF to start with the service perspective. If we have a low carbon economy, what is it that consumers will demand, and what are the services that can be provided, not just at the consumer level, but I think a business to business service perspective as well. So that's the quick summary, and we had a lively conversation, so I welcome questions. Thanks.